Oh, good to be back.
So, Coach, 9 wins on the year, most since 2005. Unfortunately, the season came to an end with you didn't get the help that you needed to get into the conference tournament, but still, 9 wins. Tell us a little bit how your first year went as a head coach here at ETBU.
First year was great. I mean, it was a learning curve for everybody. I mean, we had a great group of guys, new coach, new style of play, and so I mean, the guys came in from day one. They bought in. They knew that what we wanted to do, what they were capable of doing, and then we went out and executed. I mean, we didn't get exactly everything we wanted. Our goal was to get in there in the conference tournament. We missed it by a point, missed it by a game in that aspects, and so overall, we were happy. I mean, it was an emotional season. It was an emotional way to end the game or end the season in that aspects. But overall, it was a great first year. And then the first year is not done. Just the first part of the season's done. Now we got to get into the hard work of getting better, getting bigger, getting faster, getting more explosive. And so getting those guys ready to see that and get dialed into having that little taste of success to raise that standard for the next years.
How was it to see your seniors go out with a win on Friday night against McMurray and a 2-0 shutout for them?
Oh, that was a great game. I knew it was going to be an emotional game. We talked to them in the locker room. We talked to them before the game, and I tried to downplay the senior night. I mean, it's not senior night every night, senior night, because it's your last year. So this has no difference than any other game. We got to go out. We got to work hard, execute. And when we do win the game, then we can have a little party, celebrate, get emotional. But for those group of guys, I mean, 4 of them have been here for 4 years, and Joe Ramirez transferring in, he's just as important as those other 4 guys. But those guys have been with the program, given their blood, sweat, tears. I mean, they've been through the thick and the thin with everything. And so those 5 guys, I mean, they were huge for us in leadership, setting the tone every day. Knowing that this was their last year and they wanted to go out with a bang. And so doing that on Friday night, it gave them that aspiration and aspect.
So what were some of the highlights for you this year? First year at ETBU, kind of coming in, putting your first team together.
I think some of the highlights that I look back on is just preparing for this season. You kind of have an idea of working with them in the spring, seeing what they're doing over the summer, coming in. Just the everyday changes for a coach. For me, just seeing one day it was this guy started, next day this guy's dialed in, next day this, and we were deep this year on the roster wise, where every guy contributed, and we had a couple injuries here and there throughout the season, but guys stepped up and played huge, and so that for me that was fun, and that made my job harder. I mean, telling a guy, hey, you're not playing today, this guy's got your number. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, but those guys handled that well. Mm-hmm. They understood that it wasn't about how much time they get or when they get their playing time, but it's taking advantage of that, and so that was fun. The goals this year, I mean, we had some sweet goals this year, which was always good to look back on, and so that's kind of fun. We made some mistakes, but looking at the highlights, I mean, we had some great top 10 goals that we'll get on the TV in the locker room and kind of show.
Yeah, they were fun to watch, especially against McMurray. I believe one of them was a header, wasn't it? Kind of a cross from the left side, and I think David Jackson came in and headed it in.
Joe Ramirez.
Joel, okay.
Daniel Rhoda took it down the side. He held the ball a little too long at times, but took too many touches, but then able to feed it through into the back corner, and Joe Ramirez gave a little half dive. He didn't have to dive, but you can tell a player, you don't have to, as basketball is looking at me, you don't have to dunk it. A layup works just as good. He could have just stood there and put it in, but it still looked good. As long as it went in the back of net, that's all that matters.
From the film, looking up above, it looked really good. So yeah,
it was nice.
It was fun watching this year when we got a chance to watch them. They played hard. They went after it. They tried. I mean, when they shot their goals or for the goal, I mean, it was like rocket shots. So I think the future is bright with that. So with that, what will you take from this year to build on for next year?
The biggest thing that we're going to take from is we know that we're capable of competing with everybody we play, non-conference and in conference. We know that we can hang with anybody, and we've proven that this year. We lost some games, but we were able to make those games go all the way to the second half, or go to the final whistle, as you would say. And so we know that we're going forward. We're gonna compete with everybody. And we're gonna get guys that are gonna come in that know that we're growing, we're building. Not only are we building and growing on the campus, but we're growing and building in our athletic department, and then with men's soccer at the same time. And so we'll use that momentum to continue carrying us forward.
You kind of touched on this a little bit, but what's it going to take to get to that next level to win a game in the conference tournament and eventually a conference championship?
The biggest thing with soccer is consistency. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Any given game, any given team, anybody can beat anybody. And so we have to be consistent. It doesn't matter if we're ranked higher or if we're the underdog. We have to play the same way for 90 minutes. And that was one of our struggles this year is we were a great second half team. First half, we had some hiccups. We made some mistakes. But the second half, that's where we scored most of our goals. That's where we kind of got fired up. And maybe that was because I maybe yelled at them more at halftime. I don't know. And so midway through the season, I started yelling before the game. Said, I do not want to have this conversation at halftime. Let's have it now. So we just had to get more consistent on both sides.
We just had a comment on Periscope that says, "I love your team, coach." I didn't see who it was, but that's cool to see.
Appreciate it.
Again, some...
Another one that's of a foreign language. I mean, I don't know if he can translate that for us. But
I know a little bit, not much.
We got people from across seas commenting on you, coach.
Well, good. That's great. We're ready to go overseas. Hopefully, that's coming soon.
So, you're going into recruiting season. Having this new locker room, how much will that play into recruiting kids to come to ETBU?
Oh, the locker room will be a huge help. I mean, the guys, they get a place where they get to come together off the field. And so with soccer, I mean, we're in there 2 hours before game time, getting meals, getting set up, going over the game plan, last minute film, any stuff like that. And then just a place for them to relax before, kind of just tune everything else out, what's going on with school or girlfriends or other family issues, that they get to relax and just really concentrate on what our agenda is for the day. Having a TV room, having an area they can lay out, eat, and all that kind of stuff. It just gives them a place that they get to call home. I mean, we're on this campus all the time. We're on the field a majority of the time, and they're in their dorm rooms or apartments. And so a place for them to come also to get away from all that kind of stuff and say, okay, now we're playing soccer. It's my passion. It's their love. And all that. So a place that they can have that, and how great it looks, it's going to help us, one, get that next tier athlete at the same time, because they're going to get to see that the university cares about our program, cares about the athletics here, and that's going to help us get more players come into the program.
Now, will you continue the mentorship and the Bible studies postseason into second semester too?
Oh, no, we were supposed to do it yesterday. Now, we canceled yesterday because we let the guys go out and support the women's soccer team at UT Tyler. So we will continue to do that. We do that every Tuesday night, and so we're doing Bible study. We've increased our study hall now that season's over and they have a little bit more free time, because we have to finish strong. We finished strong in the season, but now we got to get those grades so that way those guys are still stay eligible, still get where they need to be for scholarships and all that. So we have study hall 3 days a week now instead of 2 days a week. So they weren't happy about that. So
hey, that's all right.
We need to get those grades
that's right. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, shopper, non-shopper. Does your wife do it? How do you treat Black Friday?
That's the first showcase for college coaches. So I'm at work that day. As soon as Thanksgiving's over, Friday morning, I'm in a car at 6 a.m. With some leftovers in the passenger seat, and we're driving down to Austin. And so every time I get back from that trip, my wife has new things in the house. So I would think she would be the shopper. Now I do come home normally with a pair of shoes. I
saw you had a shoe fetish.
I do. I have a lot of tennis shoes. It's probably because I kick too many soccer balls with them, and after I get them dirty, I'm like, it's time for a new pair instead of just washing them. But my players make fun of me because I have a new pair on probably most every week.
Nice. So Black Friday, you'll get some toys out of it and let your wife kind of sort of.
Hopefully she'll get me some toys, and then I'll get a couple extras on the side. So yes. She takes care of most of the shopping for us.
Have you ever got to go Black Friday shopping before?
I avoid it. I do not. I get too stressed. I get stressed enough just being on the sideline for a soccer match. If I had to deal with crowds, I don't know.
You might be one of those shoppers jumping over.
No, I'd be the one just sitting in the back going, "Okay, we don't need this that bad. Let's just leave." I'm not waiting in that line. It's like going to the cafeteria. If that line's too long, I'll eat something else. I don't have time to wait.
Well, Coach, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on a great season, 9 wins. Looking forward to what you guys will bring in for next year.
Oh, me too.
All right.